All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to this section. Welcome to this section. And trust it's been a great day from wherever you are listening from. Let me know if you are ready for this section. Good evening, Fumi Abiodun. Good evening. Good evening, Shakirat. Good evening, Sikiru. Good evening, Temitope. Yeah, good evening, Christ lover. I like that. Christ lover. Femi Abiodun, good evening. Good evening, everyone. And I think it will be a good time for us to just even tell us where you are joining this call from tonight, where you are connecting from tonight. Let me know at the comment section where are you joining this call from tonight. To be a good time. Let's know. Let's know. Chika gift. Good evening. Right. Port Harcourt, I like that. From Gadioti joining from Port Harcourt. That's a great one. Lagos, Nigeria, Shagam in Ogun State. Okay. Okay. Redemption Camp, Temitope Oluwole. Amazing. Amazing. It's good to see you today. Thank you, Mata Samaluko. It's good to see you too. At least, of course, I can see your profile picture. Right. Yes. So just before we continue our class, I'm sure we saw that webinar series that is upcoming just before this class section. Please don't uh, don't do yourself let me say a bad one by missing it. So please find your way. The webinar, what's it called now, will still be. Can you help me if you still have that design? You can just put the design up, let them see again. Now that I'm even talking about it, if you can just help us with that banner for the webinar series so that people can just see it very, very quickly before we enter into our class. The webinar series is very important, and peradventure you have not connected with the Incubator Hub on our LinkedIn. That is where the webinar series will be holding. So I would love that you please uh, join that. I would love that you please join that and then follow us. All right. I like that. Connecticut, US, Abiola Sarumi, you are welcome. So that is good afternoon at your side. Good afternoon, Connecticut, Sarumi, right? Good afternoon. All right. Okay, so it's a great time already. And then let me know how many of us have done one or two things from the last time we met yesterday. From the last time we met yesterday, you have been able to check one or two things up. Abuja, Lawal, Atinuke, you're welcome. Ilorin, Adeumi, very great. Okay, Bukola, UK, wow, you're welcome, Bukola. All right, Badi Job from the UK as well. Okay, so Samaluko is asking when is the webinar series going to come up? Do I have that flyer go up for like just few minutes? Can you guys help me? Do we have the flyer handy? Or during the break, we'll talk about it. If not now, we'll just talk about so that everybody can have a more update about the webinar series. Please, for proper updates, if you are not following us on Instagram, if you are not following us on YouTube, if you're not following us on Twitter, and all other social media, and to please do that. Please do well to follow us, and then you will have all the details that you need the about us in real time. Of course, we training is what we do well, like well. So you can as well start telling your people so that they can follow us, so that they can know when next we are having the next training, and so that they can also be a part of it. It is one advantage that you don't want to miss at any point in time. So please, you can do well to just tell people, and then they can just connect with us. Okay, so I think just taking my time to wait a little for one or two persons to join us. So the webinar series is on the 26th of October, Saturday, the 26th of October, on Saturday, the 26th of October, and it will be by 7 p.m. It will be by 7 p.m. on LinkedIn. So please, if you have not connected with us on LinkedIn, it will be a good one to do that right away so that you can get proper updates when the webinar is closer by. All right, so I have a sort of good news for us in this class tonight. Hey, tutor. Hey, Joanne Sen. If I'm right, Joanne Sen, good afternoon, good evening. What's wrong with 26th of October? So we are having a webinar on the 26th of October, and that webinar is what I am talking about. So please, for you to get more update about it, you might need to just follow us on our social media platform, the Incubator Hub, and then you will get a proper update about it. Yes, I tried and got everything except merge queries. I have not actually taught you merge queries. I have not taught you guys merge queries. So that's part of what we're going to be doing today. All right. So how many of us are excited to learn something new again today? You're excited? How many of us are excited to learn something new? Okay, I love good news. Okay, so like I said, I have good news. All right, so I was touched, and I really had to do some sort of other research or more research when people were saying they could not see my screen well yesterday. So I had to do some extra research to see how I can make my screen bolder so that people can actually see more and then relate more with the class. So, well, by God's grace, I was able to come up with a solution, and then I hope today will be much better. So, apologies for those that had issues yesterday with that, and then trust me, today will be a better day. But then we need to run faster so that we can cover a lot of grants. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly do a little recap from what we did yesterday for sake of those that were not able to see clearly what we're trying to show, and then we can now continue from there. All right, so please help me. Can you help me share my screen now? Um, Let me put up my screen on the so that we can continue. Thank you, guys. All right, now yesterday we actually started with working with columnar data, right? Okay, so we started working with columnar data, and then what I'll do is this. I'll quickly do, I'll delete this. Let me transform data and then go back to my query editor. Then I will delete the columnar data. I will upload it again, right? I will upload it again, and then I will, so that everybody can follow one after the other. But now I will not even do any maybe talk around it. I will just quickly what's it called now? I'll just quickly run through it so that everybody can see, right? So that's what I'll do. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so I have zoomed this in now, so it's bigger now. I hope it's bigger now. Can everybody see now? I hope this is bigger enough. I was able to retrieve that what we did in class, and as I didn't save it and fix my email column that was showing all after merging the rows. Clearly, good. Thank you. Okay, so what I want to do is this: the columnar data, I will delete it, and then I'll bring it all over again so that everybody can actually relate with it. All right, I hope that makes sense. So I want to do that for the sake of people who said they needed more clarity about it. So I have removed the columnar data from my data now, right? So let me get it back. Excel columnar data, and then open. Now you see it now. I have my sheet one. Innovative. If you want to be in the class, you are not forced to be in the class. Which one is why women only? If you have questions, if you have issues with the training, maybe you can excuse yourself. I don't think anybody is forced to attend the class. Why should you ask why women only? You say something is for ladies in Tech Africa. Do you know whether there are other programs for other people? These are some sort of distractions we don't want to entertain on this call. All this can drag us back, and we won't entertain such, please. Thank you. Yes, the screen is bold now. Thank you. So let's move on. So now look at this is the data that we have. All right. This is the data that we have. And then now we'll take our what data to transform states. For those asking about the data we have now, if you are coming to the class, please just pay attention so that you don't distract people. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just I don't just like to be distracted because I like to put my eye on the comment section so that I don't miss anything. So anything that distracts can actually cause some sort of dragging back. So it's okay, right? Thank you for that sincere apology. All right. So now this is the data we had yesterday, and then let me increase it now so that everybody can see. All right. I hope this makes sense now. So yesterday I said the first thing when you see a data like this and then you see that it is not properly structured, it is not properly structured in the sense that my screen is still blurry. Now, if my screen is blurry, I think you need to do something about your receiver, that is your internet. So you should do something about it. And I pray God help you to achieve that. All right. So now, when you have this data, you notice that the bikes, the year, and the value, they are all on the same, what's it called now, columns, and then we need to clean them. We need to clean them. All right. So if your screen is blurry, what I think you need to do is check your system settings and then pick a high resolution. Pick a high resolution, not your internet. So what's happening? Volume, volume, volume. Can everyone hear me clearly? Volume is okay. All right, thank you. Oh, okay, thank you. Volume is clear. Thank you. Screen is also clear. Thank you, guys. All right, let's move on so that we can move faster tonight. So the first thing I said we did yesterday was that we changed this level. Can you see now? I think it's clearer now, loud and clear. Okay, you remove this one step, remove the promoter header as well. So now your header, everything is made open. And then the first thing you now want to do is to transpose this. And then you come to your transform. You come to your transform. Then you transpose the data. Now, when you transpose the data, you notice that we now have this column coming to one side, which is more interesting, but then we still have some issues. And the issue we are having now is that how come we have some values null and some filled? We say Seattle, Portland, and Vancouver. From our observation, we realize that it is a city name or they are city names, and then we can represent them as such. So, but then how do we fill all of this? So the first thing we now did was what? We were out to promote header, come to your what home page, then do what? Use first role as header. So now we have promoted our header. So we now have Seattle, Portland, and Vancouver, but then we still have null values. And then we now have column 2 as bike accessories, and all of these are properly arranged. All right. So we also have these values. So we have 2005 till the last year. All of those years are arranged. So what do? We checked our column quality, and then we realized that some sort of missing values are here, and then it's not making our data clean. So how do we do it? We need to clean this data, and then how do we do that? First thing we did was to come here, and then we do a fill down. So when we do a fill down, we realize that all this column was filled up, all right? And now we also have the second column filled. So we came here, then right click on it, and then do a rename, and then put it as what? City, all right? And then come to the second column. We called it what did we call this one yesterday? Anybody? 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 What do we call this? That can anybody remind me? Product. Thank you. Thank you. Product. All right. So we have product. All right. Then now we now realize that all these other years, they are years, right? 2005, 2006. And then that means we need to create a header for this to have years for them, right? So what do? We need to unpivot this column. And how did we unpivot? Click on it. You can click on 2005, press on your control key, do it one after the other until the last selection. Else, alternatively, you can just press on your shift key once you have pressed the first one and go to the last column and then click on it, it automatically highlights all of them. Then you can now unpivot it. Now that you have unpivot it, you now have all your data. Let me reduce this a little. So you can now have all our data arranged now, and then we can now have what it together. Now we can now rename. We can now rename this column now, right? We can now rename this column. Oh, let me delete one step. I didn't do one step very well. From 2005, shift to the last 2013. Then let me unpivot. Yes. So this is what I'm supposed to have. So this is what I'm supposed to have, right? So what did you rename this attribute as? What did you rename this attribute as? We renamed it as what? Year, right? Yes, thank you. So I am just, this is just a recap of yesterday. So if you're having any issue, just watch. That means you are not around yesterday. So it's just a recap of what happened yesterday. So this is what values, right? Or what did you call this yesterday? So what did we call this? Just a moment, please. All right. Value. Okay, so that means we're fine. So there's one more thing that we did here. We changed this data type so that we can what be on the same spot. So we put it as what? For now, let's put it as what? O number. All right, let's leave it at O number. Now it's shifted to the right because numbers are seen as what? To the right. Numbers are always to the right. Okay, so basically this is what we did yesterday about this data, and then we were good enough to say that, right, this our data is now fine. Then we can now come to our home and then do a what? A close and apply. So by the time we did close and apply, we discovered that now our data that was just about 5 or 7 before now has how many now? Let's go back to it. Just a moment. Where is my columnar data? 4 columns. Yes, thank you. Just a moment. Okay, so I think I mistakenly closed that tab right now. Okay, see it here. So sheet, see it. I have it already here. So now you can see now that what I have is just how many tabs? Just 4 tabs. So I have just 4 tabs here, and then it's now clean. So if I come to my transform data to check, I can come to my transform data and then check so that all my column quality, I want to see whether, let me rename this as columnar data so that I don't, columnar data, right? So that's columnar data. Now I can check my column quality and see that this has what? Everything now has 100%. All right. I hope everyone is fine now. I hope everyone is fine. We've gotten this right. Okay. Now, so since we have done this and then we are done with it, so we also moved to something interesting yesterday, and then what we did was to also check. So let me go back to close and apply of this. So we also moved to combining our two datas. So then was where we have then was when we have two tables appended together. So we had two tables appended together, right? So what we did to append the two tables together is okay. So this is what we do. So I'm going to let's pick up a new data now. Let's pick up a new data for appending and merging now. You remember I gave us some data. So I'd like for us to go and pick the loan data. The loan data. Guys, go and bring in your loan data. So now once you get to this point, let me know your loan data. Now you will get to this point. I told us that we should have all our data handy because we were going to be using all of this data randomly because of what we are looking at. All right. Can we get this data? Let me know if you have what I have right now. All right, thank you. Okay. Some of us are there already. Good. Now, by the time you have your loan data, what you will have is you have 4 sheets. If you have 4 sheets, you have a June loan, April loan, May deposit, and May loan. All right. So now, once you have this, what I mentioned to us yesterday is that you can actually have as many sheets as much as you want when you want to bring up your data from sources, right? Yes, you have 4 sheets. Amazing. So once you have that, you can now determine, or depending on whatever sheet you want to work with, you can bring all the 4 sheets to your query at once, and then you can pick them one after the other, whichever way. But just make sure the box here in front is ticked. You see the box here in front here, you must make sure it's ticked. So if I tick it now, can you see the preview of what my data looks like? So I just previewed, and then that's what my data looks like. All right. So once you preview, you see what your data looks like, and then you are able to say, okay, this is what this first table look like. Then you can tick all of them. Since we are going to be making use of all the 4 sheets, just tick them. And then yesterday I also mentioned to us that what you do before you assume you can continue to work is that you first take your data through what? The transform state, right? Transform state. So go to what? Transform data. All right. So by the time you get to your transform data, you will notice what has happened. What did you notice? Come to your query side here. You will see all the data you have what uploaded at the left corner. How many of us have the 4 data at the left corner of our table? Let me know at the comment section if you have your 4 data at the left corner. Great. Interesting. So you can actually click on any of the table to see what it looks like. For June loan has date, member, and loan balances, right? April loan has date, member, and loan balances, right? The May deposit has date, member, and loan deposit. While May loan has what? Date, member, and loan balances. All right. So if you look at all of this, we want to see what we can achieve with it when it comes to appending and merging. So yesterday I remember I told us that anytime you are appending 2 tables or more, you must make sure your table has the same structure. They have the same what? Structure. Your table has the same what do we call it now? The same number of columns, such that when you are bringing them together, the values, the headings are aligned together. Say, for instance, you have a 2 by 3 row matrix. For those that understand what a schema, yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. You have a 2 by 3 matrix, and then if you want to append, you must also get another 2 by 3 matrix. If not a 2 by 3 matrix, it will not give you a correct answer. So, and I said to that end that when you append data, you add more data to the what? To the row. But when you merge data, you add more data to the what? To your column. All right. Does that make sense now? So do we work with Microsoft Excel documents while on Power BI desktop? But Johnson, you were in this class yesterday. For you to be asking this question again at this point in time. All right. Does that make sense at all? So that is so you can, in case you need to zoom in this table, this data. Now we have seen what June loan, April loan, May deposit, and then May loan. Now, the first we want to do is we want to start with appending. You know, yesterday I taught us appending. So I'm going to take it again so that for people who probably will not get it clearly yesterday, we be able to catch up at this point in time. All right. So if we need to append any data, let's say we want to append the data that are similar here. Can anybody look through this data and tell me the data that look very similar here? Can anybody check and tell me the data that are similar here? Tell me the data that are similar. I'm waiting at the comment section. May, June, and April loan. Thank you, Many Elevin. Yes, thank you, Uraola. Yes. All right. So those three are what? They are similar data, right? So what we need to do is what? To merge or to append them rather. So you can come to your header here. Did you see this under your combine? Under your combine here, then you see what? Append query. There's a drop down beside it. A drop down beside it. Then let's append query as new. Append your query as new. Append your query as new. Did you see that? So there is a dialog box that pop up here. There's a new window that pop up here. And then it says 2 tables. But how many tables do we want to append here? Can anybody tell me how many tables do you want to append here? How many tables do we want to append? 3. Thank you, guys. So just pick your what? 3 or more tables. All right? 3 or more tables. So once you have picked your 3 or more tables, what you now want to do is you want to select the tables you want to append. Look at it. Now it will bring out a list of all the available tables. Like I said, be sure you are picking the tables that are in the same schema. If they are not in the same schema, you're definitely going to have problem. So I have May loan here. Can I have which other one? April loan, and then I had it. Then what? June loan, and then I add it. Just click on that, and then you will add it. Then you will see it to your right. Just the way you are working with your backend part now. When you are working with what's it called now with in Excel. All right, you remember that part now. That your what do we call that window now? Quick access, when you're working with your quick access toolbar, right? So how many of us have the 3 data now at the right side? You have the May, the April. All right. So do we now have it now? Don't worry, I will do a recap of it one more time, but just listen first. I'll do a recap. I'll do it like 2 times. All right. So, but then I've talked about this append yesterday, right? So this is now the 3 tables that I want to append, right? Then I'll click on what? Okay. Now, if you observe now, look at it. Then I now have a single table. Have you clicked on it? And then what do you have now? Do you also have a single table now? Then you can come to your, look at this extreme left now. You now have a new name there. You can rename it and then give it what? Loan data. Do you get? You can just put what? Something like a monthly loan data. Do you get that? So monthly loan data. So we now have it all in a single table. Does that make sense at all? Where can you find the append tab? See, the append tab is up here. Make sure you're on your home tab and then on transform tab rather. Home tab, I mean, sorry, home tab, and then to your under your combine tables. You see where I'm hovering my mouse around now. Okay, so because I need to do a recap of this, let me delete this and then check it one more time. And I hope you guys will pick it up now. Okay, let's go again. Append queries, April loan, then append query as new, right? Then it's asking me how many tables do I want to append? How many tables? Then I click on 3 or more. So this is, I have April loan here. So I'll look for May loan and then I'll look for June loan. May loan, I will add it. Then June loan, I will also add it, making 3. All right. Also, for your table, you can also do something as well as you can add more anyways. If you have much more, you can add. Then just click on OK here. You now see each of those tables have now been converted to just one single table. For the person I was asking, how do we rename? How do we just right click on that append one? Just right click on that append one, or you can even double click on it, and then you can now have your monthly loan data. Does that make sense now? Does that make sense now? Let me know. Following, good. I like that. Samaluku. Does it make sense? How many of us have this, our data, monthly loan data now? How many of us have this, our monthly loan data now? It makes sense, a lot of sense. I saw that. We have a project. Okay, good. Wow, very clear. Thank you. If you did not see append one, so what did you see? What did you see on your left side? But did you see this turn to just one table now? After transforming my data, 3 of the tables came out as error with question mark affixed on them. So you have not imported that data very well. You might need to just cancel it and then go and re-import it again. Does that make sense? You might need to go and cancel it and then do a new re-import again. Try it again. You're loving Power BI already. Amazing stuff. You have appended it, but it didn't show on your left side. So what did you have? What new query did you have on your left side? What new query? You must have a new query on this your left side. Yes, this is like union in SQL. Yes, you are right. Something like that. You're joining. Okay, so that's fine now. So let's see what else can we do with this data now. You see what we can do again with this data is, if you observe, we have a May loan and May deposit. Did you get that? May loan and May deposit. Please pay attention. I am moving straight. So by the time we are done with this, we can easily just come here and then click close and apply. So that means we are done with that table. All right. That means we are done with that table. And then when you now come to the right side, of my data here, you will see my monthly loan data, and then you can now click to see what we have there. We have date, loan balances, and member. Did you see that? So that is what we have on our monthly loan data. Now, The next thing we want to do or we want to see is how can we also merge data? How can we also what? Merge data. When do you know when to append or merge queries? Oluwafunmilayo, I have mentioned this over and over in this class. All right. Ura said, can we merge load? Can we merge may load and may deposit? Actually, that is what we're about to do now. All right. So when do you know when you need to append? You for you to append any data, you must have the same schema for the data. And what do you mean by the schema? You must have the same headings, the same table structure, such that when you are adding, it's just like you are saying 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 can sit on each other. All right. So it's just like you are having something like a 2 by 3 structure. A 2 by 3 will sit comfortably on the 2 by 3, and then there will be no gap. So that is what when you can merge, append rather, sorry. But when you need to merge, is listen now, for us to merge, so what it means is that there is a particular value that happens or that appears in you have two tables now, and then there is one attribute that is on another table that you just want to extract to bring to the other table, such that instead of making references to the two tables, you want to combine the table as one. You realize that what we did here was just to combine the three tables as one, right? But what we did was all the addition was done to the what? To the row side of the data. Now, the same thing we want to do here, but what it means here, what we are trying to say here is that there is one thing. You remember when we are talking about your, what's it called now? Your VLOOKUP. When you need to do VLOOKUP, you remember that there must be a consistent value between two tables that you need to use. So this merging is some sort of lookup, so to say, some sort of closely related, right? Now, what you want to do is when you have an attribute or a table or a column on another table that, let's say, for instance, now, let me show us, let me go back to my table. Look at my May loan. Look at my May loan. Just a moment. So look at my May loan now. If you notice on my May loan, I have dates, member, and loan deposit. I have dates, I have member, and I have my loan deposit. All right. So now, if I have that, let me check what I have on my May deposit or my May loan now. On my May loan, I also have dates, member, and loan balances. Now, let me try to zoom this thing out again. Just a moment. Okay. Now, I'm trying to see how I can maximize this now. My code is not still working again. All right, so I'll try and check that. It's not still working now. So now look at it. Under my May loan, can anybody tell me what the difference we have between May loan and May deposit? Can anybody tell me in the comment section? Can anybody at the comment section tell me the difference between your May loan and your May deposit? What is the difference you have between your May loan and your May deposit? Yes, yes, yes. The third column, which is what? Loan balances and loan deposit. Thank you. So what that means is, just a moment, please. What that means is that from either of the two tables, we want to extract, let's say for instance, we want to extract the loan balance from the loan deposit, and then we want to add it to the other table so that we don't start checking between the two tables. We just want to merge the two tables as one, and then we can now continue to use them. So let's do, what we'll do is this. Let's go back to our Power Query. Let's transform. Let's transform. So sorry for people saying that they cannot see. Let me increase it now so that this is what I was saying. Can you see it now? So I have members, I have loan balances, and then under my May, where is it now? May deposit, I have loan deposit. All right. Does that make sense? Your May loan is showing something different. My columns are name, item, king, and Eden. Are you sure we are working on the same data? Okay, it's better now, right? Yes, I've been able to zoom that. Now, what we want to do is this. We want to merge these two tables together. That is the May deposit and the May loan. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. So, how do we do that? When you come to the same place where you append here, you will see merge query. Also merge your query as new query. I have told you the difference between merging queries and then merging query as new. When you merge query, what you are saying is that you want to add new query on the same table you are working with. But when you merge query as a new query, what you are saying is that you want to create a new table entirely that will now have the separate table, which usually is just the best. So that in case you need to check or compare one or two things, you can now check and then be sure you are working, your data is fine. Does that make sense now? Does that make sense now? So we'll be joining either loan balances and loan deposits to either tables we choose. Exactly. Thank you, Samaluku. That's what we want to do right now. So now, look at me now. I am on my merge. Did you have this window for merge now? So now it's asking me that select tables and matching columns to create a merged table. Now, listen. Anytime you want to merge a table, there must be a consistent attribute or tab or column within the two tables. Let me take it again. When you are merging a table or two tables together, there must be a consistent column. Say, for instance, this date that I have here now, I have date, member, and loan balance. And under my May deposit, I have date, member, and loan deposit. All right. So what it means is this: there must be something that uniquely identify. We call it something like that. We call it primary key. You remember when you are working with your what's it called now? VLOOKUP now. There's this primary key that exists between the two tables, and that is what you now use to look for the other table, right? So what you are saying is you want to link these two, you want to combine these two tables together using this unique identifier. All right, some of you are already seeing SQL here. So this is just the connectivity between Excel, SQL, and Power BI that you are working with. So if you have been following this class from the beginning, you will see that Everything has a way of connecting to each other. All right. So joining in SQL, exactly. That's what somebody is saying. Makes sense. All right. Now look at it. He's saying that select my mail loan. I've selected my mail loan. Now the table, the second table, I will also have to select it here. Are you getting me? So I'm going to select my what? My May deposit. Now look at it. I've been able to select my May deposit and my May loan. If you now look at it, which two things can we, which either I can see to, how many things rather, let me even ask. How many things do you think we can use to link these two tables together? How many columns? How many columns? And then can you specify the heading of those columns? Two. And what are those? Date or member? Interesting. This is joining in SQL. I like that you people still remember what you were taught in SQL. Amazing. All right. So this is just the way it is. Exactly. This is just the way it is. Okay. So now, in fact, you will see something that will talk about joining now very shortly. Just wait. So that means either your date. So now listen. If you now want to pick the primary key now, once you pick your key, which is date here, you have to pick date at the second part too. You cannot pick date here and then pick member here. Look at what I have. It says select columns of the same type, number, text, or etc. to continue. Do you understand? So you must select data of the same what type. So that means I cannot do date and member. But if I pick date and date, you see, it said the selection matches 10 of 10 rows from the first table. Does that make sense now? So that means it's either I use date or I use member and member. Did you see now? Member and member. So either ways, whatever you want to use, you can use. Now look at this. It said join kind. So for those of you that were saying that this is joining in SQL, did you see it now? So it's also telling you that what kind of join did you want to do? So you can check down here to see left outer, all from first, matching from second. That is everything from this first table, then match it from this second table. That is what we are saying. Right outer, all from second, matching from first. So that means all from this second, then matching from first. So let's pick all from what? Left outer join, and then you can now click OK. All right. Now, look at it now. Look at it now. So when you see, if you have joined your table, if you have merged your table now, you will see the May loan balances and then the May deposit, but then you will see table value in front of it. How many of us can see the table value in front of it? Did you see this? How many of us have the table values in front of it? Yes, the table value as the fourth column, exactly. All right. So now listen, are we done with this? No, because that is not what we want to see. All right. That is not what we want to see is we want to see that deposit. You know what we have here is loan balance, and then we now want to see what May deposit. So how do we now check it? If you look to your immediate right on this heading here, you will see an expansion arrow. Can you see this expansion arrow here? That looks like a filter pan. Now, once you click on it, it will open another what window for you like this. Now, what this is saying is this. Pay attention, guys. What this is saying is this. Select all columns. If you select all columns, what it means is that it will replicate everything on that table and then put it in front of that table you are coming with. But then, so that we don't want to replicate any data, since we have date and member already on the table, what we just needed is to bring what? The loan deposit. So we deselect all and then we pick only what? loan deposit. Do you get it? We deselect every other thing, and then we what? We pick loan deposit, and then is asking us that here that use original column name as prefix. If you tick it yes, you can still rename it anyways. Now, if you now click OK, you will see what we have now. Can you see what we have now? So instead of that table, we now have values. Does this make sense at all? Guys, why are we picking only loan deposit? We are picking only loan deposit because that is the only column we need from that other table. That is the only column we need from that table. If you need more than that column, you can pick other column. Where did you get lost? Temitope? It makes sense. Okay. Wow, this is good. Power BI is sweet too. All right. I like that. I should take merging again. Okay. Let me take merging again. Let me delete this merging. Don't forget, I say when you want to do anything, you take your data back to your what? Your query editor, right? So this is my main deposit. I'm back in my query editor now. I'm back in my what? Query editor. And then now I want to pick what? So I have my data heading as what? Date, member, and loan deposit, right? Date, member, then I come to merge query. And I said, when you want to merge query, merge it as new so that you can rename your new merge after now. All right. And when you click on it, you will see the first table by default you are working on, which is our May deposit. But the other table we want to merge from is what? The May loan. So I will look for the May loan and then I will select it. And I said that anytime you want to, what's it called now? To merge, there must be a unique identifier that you must look for in both tables. That is what you will use to merge the two tables. For instance, in this case, we have date and member consistent in both tables. So that means we can either use date or member. But I said when you are using either of these two, you cannot cross-change it and use it. Do you get? You cannot cross-change it and use it. Someone say, why use SQL when I have Power BI? Okay, all right. So when you have this, you cannot do dates and then cross check it with member. You will see that select column of the same type, so it won't work. So you can do dates and dates or member and member. So the other time I did member, so now I'm using dates. So then you can select the type of join you have, either right join, right outer or left outer, full outer, inner, left anti, and whatever joins. So all of these joint questions, I'm sure you must have learned well about it in your SQL class. So you can decide on which area your join is coming from. Okay? All right, so then you click your OK. Since you have selected this, click your OK. And then now we have the last, our main loan now appear as what? As a table. All right, you see that now? Our main loan now appear as a table. So what do we now do? We need to open this table and then pick the loan. That is what we exactly need. You see this expand button that we have here. You click on it and then you will see a lot of, like as if you want to filter out. So what do you want to filter out? So that you won't have a replicated data. If you leave this date, it will be replicated again. If you leave the member, it will be replicated again. So all we just needed here is what? The loan balance, right? Am I correct? Am I communicating? So I'll deselect this, then I'll click just my loan balances, and then I'll click OK. Now my balance is out. Does this make sense? Now I will now come here. I can now rename my merge. This Power BI desktop May 2021 is really giving wahala. Ester merge query is under combine, the home tab. Click the okay, somebody is helping someone there. Where can I find the query editor? You can't find merge queries. Some of those questions you might need probably to just watch the video again and then pick up with us, because we can't go that. I've done that like 2 or 3 times already in this class. All right. So what can we call this now? Somebody borrow me a name for this new table now. Can somebody borrow me a name? Actually, I like that. Banjoko monthly loan summary. I think this is what we should have even named the monthly loan data actually, but let's put it as monthly loan summary. Right? So now we have been able to have our table, then we can now do what? Something like close and apply. So from here now, we have not gotten to the visualization place. You can now start building your visualization. All right. You can now start building your visualization. So from here now, you can now start building your what? Your visualization. Now, let's do something very quickly before it's our break period. We want to move to the next thing. And then what do we want to work with? We want to work with dates, our date. Now, if you look at which of the data should we use here now that has a good date that we can? Okay, let's use that. I think we should use our monthly loan summary. Okay, interesting. We can use monthly loan summary. Let's see. Should we use data or summary? Okay, let's use this. So everyone pick your monthly loan data now, your monthly loan data, then go back to your transforms data. Now listen, everyone, we are moving to the next thing. What next thing we want to do now is we want to work with dates or in Power BI. We want to work with what? With our date. All right. So please pay attention. Okay, guys, pay attention here. Now listen to this. I have zoomed already. Now listen to this. Sir, can we use Power BI for academic research analysis? Because I noticed that most of the tools we have talked about so far has been used for either account or business analysis. You can actually use it for whatever you want to use it. But then the emphasis, if you know the meaning of BI, it means what? Business intelligence. And I think I mentioned that in the first class, that the business intelligence is the emphasis here. But then you can, of course, since you know what you want to do, what you want to do is what you twist it to get what you want to do. But then they are targets or they are mainly built for what? For business purposes. I can't even close Power BI to restart. Why? Where can you find the query editor? Are you a member of this class? I did see merge one. How do I rename the data? Just right click on the merge one and then give it your name. Right click on the merge one and then give it your name. What query are we working with, please? Now we're about to work on monthly loan data. We're about to work on monthly loan data. Your monthly loan data has what? Go to your transform state. You will see it back as something like I have here. Take it back to your transform state. I clicked on close and apply. Then I tried to cancel the action. It has been stuck since then. It should work. Just make sure you are deleting the right step. If you delete a step before another step, you might actually mess up your work. Actually, you might mess up your whole work. Please, from close and apply, how do we bring my May deposit table? From close and apply, how do you bring your May deposit table? So you will see this three icon where you have your data view, your table view, and all of that. So just click on the table view, and then you will see your data at the right side. Click on your whatever data you want to see, and then you will be able to see what you need for. Please, as I didn't see this file in your canvas. If you don't see the file in your canvas, that means that's a cup of beverage for you, because everybody, the same way everybody saw it is the way you should see it. So maybe you should check well. Actually, you should check well. I said that you should check well. Actually, I'm just joking, but then you should check where you have it. I'm sure if one person could get it in this class, everybody must have gotten it. So you should check well. Now, listen, we want to work on our data, on our date table. Okay. I just got a prompt that is our break time. I think we should just go on break. And then when we come back from break, we can continue on our date table. All right. See you guys back in the next 5 to 7 minutes. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Um, let me see. Let me check at the comment section to see some of the questions waiting for me there. Okay. You can click on the drop down beside it and then make sure you check. Thank you. I like that some of us are actually helping me to answer some of those questions. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Friday night class is always okay. All right. So I think we are good. So, like I mentioned, the next thing we are doing now, or we want to do now, is we want to work with dates. What are the things we can work with dates when you have your dates? Say, for instance, you want to check the consistency of data within your date. You want to check the consistency of data within your date. How can you work with dates such that maybe you want to see the quarter, the day, the month, the year, and all of that? How can you achieve that? Those are the things we want to see now. Are we together, please? Your date is showing what? It's showing day. So take your data to your transform data, and then you'll be able to see what exactly you should see. All right? Take your data back to your transform data. Now, look at the data we want to work with now. The data we want to work with now is what? Just a moment, please. All right. So now, what we want to do is you want to see how, please pay attention, because this you might not really get anybody to tell you, but then your understanding will make you know when you really need to use this. And for people who would also love to probably take some professional exam, maybe as a result of this training, this will actually help you a whole lot. This will help you a whole lot. I think it's from your side. If you are hearing echo, it's from your side. For someone asking if we are back from break, well, for you to see me back on the screen, that means we are back. So you can just let's continue the class. Now, I want to use a sample data here, since we have a data that has dates. Like this, my monthly data now, it has dates. So I want to use it as an example so that we don't mess up this data. So what I will just do is I will duplicate this data. This is my monthly dates. So let me right click on it and then do duplicate. See now? So I've duplicated the data. So I will rename this one as what? What I want to use as what? Date. Date data. All right. So now what we want to do is date. We want to work with date. All right. And since we want to work with date, what are the things we can do with our date? The first thing we want to do here is I will delete these other columns. You remember the way I told you to do it. Can somebody remind me, if I want to remove these other columns, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? All right, what am I supposed to do? Yes, 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 I'm waiting at the comment section. Remove columns. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So to remove this column, as you have just clicked on this first, all you need to do is what? Just come to your what? Your remove columns here, and then do what? Remove other columns. You know when you to use remove columns or remove other columns. Be sure you understand the difference between the two. Now we have removed other columns. What we have left is date column. Now, please pay attention to this. I'm increasing this so that you can see it very well. Now, if you check the data type of this data type is appearing as date already. All right. This data type is appearing as date. Peradventure, this is just appearing as maybe a text or something. Maybe it's looking like this. What are you supposed to do? Anytime you want to work on a date data, first ensure that you convert it to a date format. First way by you can do that is first coming here to what? To convert it to a date. All right. The selected column has an existing type conversion. Replace current. Now, this is it. You can click it. For the distraction, I have been experiencing issues with my Power BI. It takes time to load. Does it mean that obstacle Power BI cannot function optimally as the recent one? I hope it's not your system. Please, can I write professional exams after this program? If you prepare yourself very well for it, you can write it after this program. Because whatever you, of course, I mentioned this in the last class, that whatever you learn from this class, you need to read up and then you can be sure you're good for exams. What it takes to write exam is not just about what you are taught in class. You need to also read more. You need to also be deliberate about reading. Okay? Now, look at what I have here. After I have converted this my date. Now, if you click on your add column, at the menu, you will see your date type. That's your form, date, and time. Did you see it here at this upper part? All right. Now, should in case your date format is not in date format, or your date is not in the date format, let me explain what I mean. Say, for instance, this is in the text, as it were. Right? Let's say it's in text like this, and then you come to your date here. You will notice that everything on your date format here is not clickable apart from just one thing, which is what? Pass. Pass. Did you get that? Do we have materials for this? For someone asking, how did we remove column? We know people who were not in previous classes now. All right, so let's continue because of our time. Now, the only thing that you can have here is pass. And then if you click on this pass, all right, click on this pass, and then you will see what happened. Now, if you notice what has happened now, you will see that the first column you had carrying date with a data type text has been converted to a date with a data type date. I take that again. The moment I click on pass, my first column that I had before that was having a data type text, you see the text here as my data type, was immediately converted to a data type date here, just like I have here, which is the normal data type you should have for your date or for your date. Yes, correct. So now what will you do to do? So you just come here, delete this particular one because we don't need it. Remove. Just remove it, and then we now have this. So you can rename this as what? As date, as the case may be. Did you see that? You can rename it. Please, I need your help. I still can't download my Power BI on my desktop, and I hardly practice what I learned in class. After how many classes? I've said it over and over again. Reach out on Telegram if you need help. You can't reach out for help like this while the live class is ongoing. What do you want me to do here? So please just keep watching the class, and after the class, you might probably just reach out and then you get the necessary help. Have you started using the file in Canvas? Hey, yeah, so sorry about that. You are coming so late. All right, let's continue. So now, This date, we want to make use of it by checking all our dates here. Say for instance, the first date I have here is what? 21st of April 2023. Am I together? Your pass is not active. If your pass is not active, are you clicking on the date column? Are you clicking on that singular date column? Click on that singular date column and then go back to your date here, and then your pass should be active. Now that I have converted, it has converted it to date. Go back to the date and then you will see that every other thing is active apart from that pass. Every other thing is now active apart from the pass. Let me recap. I'm waiting for that part of this class that we'll take, and then we won't have to do it twice. All right, this is it. I have removed some steps here. You notice what I did? I have removed some steps. So now I have my date, but my date is in what? Is in a text format, data type, right? And now click on it. Click on this date, and then the only thing that I can click here is what? Is pass. So I passed the date, and it immediately converted the date to what? To a date format. And that's why I shifted it to the right now. It has converted it to a date format. Then I can now easily remove this since I don't need it again, so that it doesn't duplicate the data. Now this is in date format. Now, extra, thank you. I agree. You get there one day. Okay, so now if you now go back to that date, and then you will now see that every other thing is now clickable apart from what? Apart from the pass now. Now we want to start our operations with date. If you are working with a date and then it requires you to do some calculations, maybe how many days appear between a particular time to another time. Now, the date they gave you is probably something like this: 21/4/2023. Nobody knows when or how and that. Nobody knows, or probably they ask, what day of the week? What day of the week did that particular date fall into? Do you know it's possible for us to get it? But in your data, it was not shown. Now, these are where you will be able to do that. That's why I said pay attention here, because some of you, by the time you are working on your project, you will need to explore some of these options. Now, let's look at it. If you say date only, if you click on date only is what we have already, so it will still be the same thing. Now, if you now say that I want under your year, I want just the year. If you click on just the year, you will see what we have. What do we have now? Just the year. Just click. You see that I'm not even stressing myself. I'm not even doing any code. It's just click. Can you see that? Just a click, and then you are fine. Now, you come back to this place, come back to your past. Let me rename this. I'm supposed to rename this. Let me rename it again as my date. Come back to date and go back to your date. And then now, after the year, we want to see in that year, what is the start of that particular year? What is the start of that particular? When you click the start of that particular year, let's see what it gives us. Now, so you know this is 21st of April 2023. The start of that year will be what? January 1, 2023. Does that make sense? So that is the start of that particular year, and it happens like that for everything. Everything, you see, everything that we have, all the data that we have. Of course, you know that the start of every year is what? 1st of January. So does the pass work with only date or every other data types too? The pass is a date format type. The pass is a date format type. All right. So now that's the start of the year. Let's go back to our date again. Now we are building a table for date with this. If you notice, this is our date table. Let me even rename it as date table instead of date data. Date table. Right? We are building our date table. So we have the date, we have the year, we have the start of the year. Let's come here. Can we also check the end of that particular year? What is the end of every year? The end of every year is 12th of December, right? 31st of December, right? Somebody saying no code is everything. Okay. By the time you get to that function, you will code small, right? But it's still low code anyways. It's still low code. So this is the start of the year and this is the end of the year. Now, between the start of the year and the end of the year, you can also say that for this particular year, how many days do we have there? Or how many months? So how many months? If you come to the month, let's pick month, you will see what? The number of the month. Now, if you take note, you are seeing the figures. If you want to calculate some arithmetic or do some aggregate functions, you see that all the dates that you have clustered are now being divided into pieces. Here's a live section I omit. When I click the year, it gave me only the column containing the year. Are you following what I'm doing? Is that not what I have? So why did you have to also raise it as, and what's it called again? That's the same thing? What else do you want? Do you want to have your own opinion? That's the same thing I have now. When you click on year, this is what you are saying. You just have the year alone. I had to maximize or to zoom out this so that everybody can. Let me minimize so that you can see the whole thing at once. Can you see the whole thing at once now? This is what we have for now. This is all we have for now. Okay? So that before some people say they cannot see it again, so let me maximize it. Let me zoom out, or zoom in rather, and then let's continue. Now, this is telling us the month, which is April is what month? Fourth month, and then May is fifth month, then June is sixth month. Are you seeing that? Is it possible to convert the month from number 6 to text June? Okay, good. This you can do now when you get to, you know why I'm smiling. When you get to your DAX function, you will be able to know if you need your text function, or you need your, what's it called now? Your figure, or you need your text. So you will know, depending on what you need is what will determine. But then you can actually change this 4, 5, and all of that to what's it called? To their month. But in the case where you actually need figures, because by the time you start your calculations, you will need more figures actually, depending on what you need it for. But then let's still continue so that we can see a whole lot of what we can do with this. Click your date again. Whatever you are doing, you are extracting from your date. So pick it from the date. Is the date Esther Folashade Ajayi? Click on this first date. I don't know whether you have renamed yours from past. If you have renamed it from past, you should have a date or something there. So pick it from there. And then once you pick it on from there, come to your date, and then come to, I think we are still on months now. So what is the very first month of every year? January, right? So the end of every month, the days in the month, how many days are in the month? Let's click to see. 30, some days 30, while some days 31. Did you see that? 30 days are September, April, 30 days. The other ones are what? 31, apart from what? June. All right, you see that? You see that? Now, this is the days. So just come back again, and you can also rename these headings in case you don't want the way it is renaming it for you. Come back again, and then let's see what we can have again. Month, name of the month. The person that was asking the other time, can we have May, June written in name? Let's see what we have now. Did you see what we have now? For the person that was asking, can we have the April, May, June written in month? Can you see now? Now we have it. Okay. So we can actually have as much as what we want to have with your date table. Usually, when you are working, you want to work and then have your date data or table in just one. What happened to your past that you can't continue? Okay, great. Esther, same. Then let's look at the next one. So we have seen the names of the month, the whatever, the days in the month. So now, okay, interesting. The days in the month, that one will look very, very funny to you too. 21st of April 2023. What day of the month is that? Okay, I think we have done the days in the month, right? So let me just remove this. This is not what I want to do. So let me go back. We will see where we get to day. The 21st day in the month, what does it mean? So now we are in quarter. What quarter is April? What quarter is May? What quarter is June? Quarter of the year. Can you see first quarter, second quarter, everything is what in second quarter. All of these questions. Now, let me say this again. You know that nobody is asking me. I am the one breaking all of this thing down. If you want to work as an analyst, you must engage in critical thinking. Like you must critically think to break down some analysis so that you can have a vast insight about what you are looking at. How can we get the day of in which the date falls into? Stop jumping. Let's be done before you probably ask. If you did not do anything in that line, then maybe you can now ask. Mine is not creating another column. It's just that one column. Change favor. There's something you're not doing right. So we have seen the quarter of the month, right? Let me go back to my dates and then come back to what date and then quarter, the start of quarter, the end of quarter. You can check that week of that year. What week is that year? You know, week has a number, right? So what week is that year? You can just click the week. Week what? Week 17. You know, we have how many weeks do we have in a year? How many weeks do we have in a year? Somebody is still at columnar data. You can find columnar data on your dashboard, on your file for LMS 52. Thank you. Alternatively, I think someone also dropped it on the what's it called now? On the Telegram group now. So you can also pick it up from there. Okay. So now the week of the year we have now, we have 17, we have 18, and like that, like that. That is the week of the year. What else can we see from here? Let's go back to our date and let's see for the week. Week of the month, then start of the week, end of the week. Let's just pick start of the week and let's see what it looks like. Start of the week is what? Now, you know the first day we are looking at is 21st of April, right? 21st of April, what date is the start of that week? Start of that week will be on the what? On the 17th of April. Does that make sense? Now, this we just break it down. Thank you, Oduayoluayemi. If you don't go back to the date column, that first date column, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to do anything. So I've been able to do that. Which other thing can I still do now? Let me still look. I want us to explore it to the barest part. Now, this is what? Week. End of the week. End of the week will be 21st. So let's go to day now. What's the day of the week? For the person that was asking at the other time, that was the day of the week. The day of the week is 21st, right? The day of the week is 21st. Okay. Now, what other thing can we see from the date? Let's see. Day of the week. The person that was asking at the other time. The day of the week. Now, see the day of the week. The fourth day of the week. The fourth day of the week is supposed to be what? Whatever day that is, let's go and check what that day is. Can come here, come to your date, and let's see what that day looks like. Name of the day. Just click the name of the day, and then you will see what that day is. And that day is what? Is a Friday. Does this make sense at all? Does this make sense at all? Let me know at the comment section. You can always rewatch this video. The video is always yours. Amazing. Tamaklo Vivian. Okay, I like that. I like that name. Tamaklo Vivian is from where, please? If you don't mind to type. Tamaklo Vivian. Tamaklo Vivian. I'm waiting for your response. I want to spotlight some names here. And I know some names that come very frequent on my comment section. Some name comes very frequent. There's a whole lot of stress for the facilitator. Thank you. Oluwayemi is already fighting for me. Loan database at this point in time. Wow. From Ghana. Oh, wow. Amazing. Okay. Nice. 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 Business. Okay. Nice. Samaluko. Samaluko, you are from where? Mata Samaluko. Mata Samaluko, where are you from? I'm just taking my time so that people can actually do what I've done. This is highly insightful. I like that. That's my voice is stressed. That's what I do, right? It's normal. Samaluko is running away from me. Okay, okay, good. Wow. Samaluko is from where in Nigeria? Name sounds kind of like, or maybe I'm not pronouncing it well, sure. Thank you, everyone. All right, are we enjoying this class? Like, has it been a wonderful time? Let me know. Let me know. We still have a few things to do, right? So that by next week, it will be a good time as we start the analysis expression, DAX function. Yes, the almighty DAX. Somebody will be like, okay, good. Lagos, okay, good. The way they are counting their own is 0 is a Monday. 0 is not 1. Monday is not 1. Monday is 0. Tuesday is 1. Wednesday is 2. Thursday is 3, and like that. Not like our own count. We are just exploring this data. Our own count is where probably we have Sunday as 1, Monday as 2, and like that. So depending on what so what we just need to do is just understand what this looks like. Does that make sense? I'm enjoying it. Yes, I like that. Oh, yeah, Olanike. If your data type is already date, you won't see pass. Thank you. You will just continue. I explained that already, right? How am I inserting other columns? I'm not inserting any columns. I'm just doing a click, and then the other columns are popping up by themselves. I'm enjoying it. I got lost yesterday, but I went over it and I got it. Thank you so much for that. Opeyemi Olalere, thank you so much for that. Okay, good. So that means we've been able to have a good time with our just a moment, please. All right. Okay, so now if you are done with this and then you have checked all your data types and you see that your data types, you see now from just one column, you see how many columns we have now? From just one column, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We now have 13 columns. This is how to build models. Now, you see that we're already building models. So we're already building models. So that's that. Okay, now we can now do what? Close and apply, and then our date table is ready. Now, hopefully when we get to our DAX function, we can actually do some calculations even with this date. For instance, you can say you want to subtract the first date minus the last date, how many days, how do you this and that, all of those things. Those are things you can actually do by the time we get to our what? Exactly, Ikechukwu. So it's something we need to actually do over and over and over and over and over again. So that is that. And now let me see one or two things we can actually still do with our data before we go to our DAX functions, which is majorly what we'll be looking at the next class. Now, for all this table that we have now, just a quick one. I'm coming just a moment. I think I've also spoken about the splitting of columns here. Yes. Okay, now. So the next thing we actually want to talk about now, I will talk about it, but I will not demonstrate it. Yes, if you have 16 columns, you can have as many columns as depending on how you are able to explore your columns, right? Depending on how you are able to explore your columns. So that is will determine the number of columns you have. So now let me do a quick tip for us with visualizations. I don't want to enter anything dark tonight at all. I don't want to enter anything dark tonight at all. So let me pick one of these data or table that we have, and then let's build some visuals with it. Okay, let's see. For our columnar data, okay, good. Now for our columnar data, let's now go back to our now. Anytime you want to build your visuals, this is your best bet. You come to your what? Your report view. And under your report view, if you come to this lower part here, you will see your page number. You can have it as many numbers as possible. All right, as many number as possible. Now, under your insert here, there are a few things you can actually add. If you have images, maybe you are building a report for a particular organization, you can actually bring in the image of that organization by the time you click here, and then let me see, do I have any picture around? I'm looking for if I have any picture around. No, I don't. Okay. Let me see. Okay, let me use this. Let's assume this is, you see now, I brought in this picture. Let's assume this is my heading. Now I have this comes hide somewhere here, right? Hide somewhere here, and then I can have my text box. I can have my text box here. Just the way you were doing, you're building your report in Excel. You remember, right? Amen. Thank you, Esther. And you too. May God strengthen you. Thank you. So I can have something like this, and I can have, say, my first dashboard. My So whatever you want to do with it, anything you want to do, you want to move it to a particular site. I'm just giving you, we'll still come to this. You will still come to this at a later time, right? So now, from that particular columnar data, I want to see what data we can actually, or visualization we can actually have with it. For now, like I said, I'm not going to go into anything analysis expression. How can we open the columnar data we worked with yesterday? How can you open it? Open it now. Open it the way you close it. All right. So let me pick first. Let me pick my pie chart. Now, please pay attention. This is the last thing I'm going to do before we end this class. When I pick my pie chart now, you will notice two things. Number one, I have just picked an empty pie chart. I've just picked an empty pie chart. And once you pick your pie chart, there are a few things you should pay attention to here. And what are those things? Number one, which data do you want to work with? Don't forget, we have a list of data here. And in case you want to mix data to work with each other, it's also possible, just depending on what you want to do. Are you following what I'm saying? Please pay attention. Now, we want to work with our columnar data. So I can just open my columnar data by clicking on the row beside it. And then if I click, just check the product. Inside the product, check the product now. If you check the product, you will see a box that comes up here like this, which is coming up as what? My legend. That is why you see these three up. But if I don't want my legend up, what I want is value. Just click add data and come to columnar data, then pick product again. Then did you see what I have? I know this is magic. I know this is magic right now. How many people saw the magic I just did just now? So, like I said, I wait, just hold on. So I have not actually started visualization. I'm just showing you guys what we can actually create with our report when we are done. I said the most important thing you need to do with your report is what? Is to make sure you clean your data to have a very clean what's called data. Once you have a clean data, your building your report is the simplest thing. Building your report is what? Is the simplest thing. But you will have a bad report when your data is not properly tidied. You will have a bad report when your what? Your data is not kept or properly tidied. Does that make sense? So this is just what I showed us. I just showed us using what? The products, each of the product. You remember the product we had was just three products. We have accessories, bike, and miscellaneous. And now the percentage of each of these products is what we have been able to carve out here. And that is why we have this what? This image. All right, that is why we have this image. So if I click on this, now, don't worry, we'll still build visuals. We'll still build visuals. I'm not building visuals tonight. So Bukola, you don't need to be online. That is why the Power BI desktop you are using is offline. As a matter of fact, everything you have been doing, I don't know if you have been following the class. If your system was not connected, you still have been able to do it. The only thing you will not be able to do is if you are using a Google Sheet as your data source, which we will use one of these days, which we will also use one of these days. Then you will now see so that you can understand how to to actually bring up the what's called the data now. So I think I don't want to go too much into this. Let me look at the comment section and see how many questions I can answer before we call it a night. I don't want to go into too much of and I don't want to start the DAX analysis expression tonight, because if I should start it, okay, I think I can actually start it. Let me just start. So what I'll just do is I'll just start next week as a new module that we are looking at, which is the DAX function. So this is just an instance. I just showed us an instance of what you can do with your report when you have built one. So I have deleted everything I have here, and then we are going back to our data. Now, when we say DAX function, what do we mean? DAX function means data analysis expression. Class tonight is insightful. Thank you. It means what? Data analysis expression. Thank you. All right. So data analysis expression, what does it mean? Now, in data analysis or as a data analyst, there are times that you will need to do some basic calculations that obviously will not come with your table, but you will be the one to add it to the table. I don't know whether you understand what I said. You will need to what? For those asking how new columns are added when we're working on dates, if you don't move from transform tab to add column tab before using the date function, means it will be added for you. Thank you. All right. So for DAX function, it means where you can carry out all your basic analysis expression. And anytime you are working with DAX function, I will talk about two. Please, let's assimilate all you've taught so far. And I don't understand what that means. No, so let's not even start the DAX function tonight. It's not dash, it's DAS. It's DAX. Did you see that? DAX functions. DAX function. So data analysis expression. Okay, so that is the function. So now there are two major things you need to pay attention to anytime you are working with DAX functions. Number one is, what do you want to get? Do you want to get a measures, or do you want to get when you are getting your calculated columns? You know, I said this basically deals with what? With calculations. Now, when you are doing your calculations, there are two ways by which you can get your result. If we are working with a calculation, let me look for a table to show us something. Okay, let me make reference to still to this our. All right, let me do this. Now look at this table. Let me take it to transform state. Or I think I'd rather use maybe monthly loan data or monthly loan summary. Yes. So let's rename this F. This is a May loan summary. So let's use this data. Let's say, for instance, we want to May loan summary is talking about loan minus debt. If, for instance, we want to get loan minus this deposit, you see that what we have is here is loan, Abi, and here we have deposit. We want to probably now set what do we call it? Outstanding. Say, for instance, I want to create a new column, and the new column I want to create is a column to get the difference between these two values. So that means we want to create a calculated column. All right. So how can we achieve that? We can just achieve that by saying, coming to your what? Your add column function. Don't worry, I'll still repeat all of this by the time we come next week. I'm just giving us a hint of what we can do. Add column, And under your column now, what is the kind of column, or what kind of column do we want to add? Is a calculated column. Do you get it? You want to have a what? A calculated column. Or do you want to have what? A custom column? Do you want to have a conditional column? When you say a conditional column, what does it mean? Let me click so that you will see. Now, a conditional column is used when you want to specify a particular column to say if this sums this, then output this. Do you get what I said? If A plus B, then give me the answer. So that is what we call by what? A conditional column. However, we can also have what? A custom column. Now, what is custom column? Custom column is where you want to put in your own calculations. You want to put in your what? Your what? Your calculation. All right? Okay. So now, are you guys telling us that we should start rounding up? Because this I see the webinar series, maybe they want me to talk about it already. All right. For those that okay, I think we should just good for us to just stop it at this point and then talk about this webinar series because some persons were not in class when we was talking about it the other time. Now, I mentioned that we're going to be having a very interesting section into this month. That's on the 26th of September by 7 p.m. on our LinkedIn. Please, if you are not following, you are missing out on our LinkedIn. And I see that people are already making some interesting posts, and then you are tagging the Incubator Hub. Please do more of it, and then we will also engage with it. All right. So you can see that we are going to be having a guest speak to us at the webinar section on the 26th of October, which is a Saturday by 7 p.m. Please, I love that we will follow, we will on all our social media platform. Probably you are still here, you are just watching the videos, but you are not following or you are not connected with us on all our social media. Please, you are the wrong person here. You should be following by now. And let me tell you why you should actually do that. Maybe you have one or two persons in your corner that are also saying that I missed this particular opportunity. When is the next one coming up? Let me tell you something. There are so many things that are in stock, particularly with us here at the with Hub, and then you don't want to miss any of it. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on LinkedIn, on all these social media, and then trust me, you will really have a nice time being with us. So I think I was trying to just achieve this before, but then let's see if I can do this or I can just end it at this point. Outstanding. Outstanding is got to loan deposits, no loan assembly, loan assembly, minus loan deposits. This is that's actually dictated. Why is it putting that? Now, you will see what I have now. I have a new column here, which actually bring out a value for all of these. This is not for us to digest tonight. It's just for you to see what we have done. Guys, I think it's been a wonderful week. And let me leave us at this point. When we come next week, we will continue whatever we have to do. Any question before we call it a night? Let me see at the comment section if they are still. Thank you, Azan Latifat. Any question? Any question? Any question? Have a great, refreshing weekend. You too. Mr. Tidi want to use all his time. Maybe, right? Okay. But then it's been a wonderful time, right? Thank you so much. I like that. I appreciate everyone. Thank you. No question. I'm sure you knew Lua wants to run out of the class already. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. See you next week, Tuesday. Bless you.